All right, today we're taking a look at blue bossa and how to comp over blue bossa using some altered chord forms and possibilities that will lend themselves to a more interesting comping style. Okay, let's just start with the C minor 7 chord. Just playing this with a basic bar, but you can also do that same chord with the just a 3-note version as opposed to a 5-note version, right? Okay, and another possibility is this a first position one, like so, and this is the root, the flat 3, flat 7, and the flat 3 doubled up on top. You know, down here it's a little heavy. You know, if you move a chord like this around, you know, it's nice. So there's a couple of three possibilities for a C minor 7 chord. Now I also always suggest that no matter what chord you learn, you break it down into its component triads, right? So in the case of a C minor chord, well, not the C minor 7, but the C minor, we have the C minor on the top of this, you see. And then here, inversion, and inversion. I'm not going to go, you know, that gets heavy down there again, but so those are good to get underneath your fingers. You see, this is the root position, C, E flat, G, and then this is inversion with the G, second inversion, G, C, E flat, and then E flat, G, C. Those are really nice to get used to, and there's lots of ways you can use them later, just as little fill chords and so on. And then we go to the F minor 7 chord. You can play, you know, it's all. This is another example of, you know, it gets really chunky down here, you know. And so rather than play that one, why not? We can invert it into this C minor, F minor 7 in an inversion, a first inversion. So we've got the A flat, the third down in the lowest voice, and then our root, our fifth, and our 7, right? Root, 5, 7, and then the 3 down here. So that's a nice, easy chord to play. If we were looking at it as the root being, if this were the root, this would be a 6 chord, right? But that 6 chord also is a first inversion minor 7 chord. It's a really handy chord. So if I change from the 1 to the 4. Much lighter than doing this big bar down here, and it's always sort of a complicated playing that close to the nut too, right? Okay, that's a nice chord, and then D minor 7 flat 5. We'll just keep that one there right now. There are other possibilities, but they're further up the fretboard. Let's stay here right now. So D minor 7 flat 5, and then I want to show you this. This is really cool. In a minor key, the 5 chord in this case, which is a G7, can be also played as a G7 with a flat 9. And check out what happens on the guitar fretboard from a D minor 7 flat 5 to a G7 flat 9. As you can see that those two chords are the same shape, except one is the middle 4 strings and the other is the top 4 strings. Right? And then resolving. Okay. That's cool. Now, yeah, this is a bit crazy. If we play the G7 with the flat 9, right? We don't have a root in this chord. Our root would be down there, but here we have a G7 with the you've got the flat 7, the 3, the 5, and the flat 9 on top. That chord is enharmonic, same notes, in other words, enharmonic with a diminished chord. And we know that a diminished chord is just consecutive minor thirds, right? And those consecutive minor thirds tell us that the chord will move exactly the same way. So if we take this chord here and move it up a minor third, that the notes that I've got underneath my fingers here are identical to the notes that I've got underneath my fingers here. They're just in a different order, right? The same thing there. So it makes a really great way to connect chords. The same thing holds true for D minor 7 flat 5, and then these two notes here remain in common, and then I'm just changing the one note, right? So effectively I'm doing this. Right, and so that D minor 7 flat 5 with that movement it becomes a G7 flat 9 in a different inversion. In this case, it would be, here's the 5th, here's my flat 9, here's my 3, and here's my flat 7. Yeah, and now the same thing is going to hold true for this one. Right, and that yeah, we could go on for the whole session just looking at the diminished chord, just little bits and bytes right now. Right, and so there's a nice transition from a D minor 7 flat 5 to a G7 with a flat 9, and then to the right. Okay, and then E flat minor 7. So here, to the A flat 7. So now this A flat 7, I could use this 4-note version or the 3-note version, and then that resolves to the D flat major 7. But let's add another 7th sound, and we'll make it the 13. So that's a 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 through the Mixolydian mode. Right. That's a nice that's a nice one. Yeah, you could probably use this 9. That's a nice one too, isn't it? Wow. And so what we've got here is 1, flat 7, 9, and 5. Good. And then we end up on the D flat major 7, but we can make that a D flat major 9. now when we're at this D flat major 7, this is a really this is a really common one, and I think we're going to throw it in here. It's a major 9, major 6/9, and it really works lovely with. Right. So we have the root, the 3, the 6, 9. And the 5 on top. And here's a nice major 7 at fret 6. Here's our D flat, just a second inversion D flat, and you add the major 7 on top. Okay, so we have the E minor 7, E flat minor 7, or this one, and then our A flat 13, our A flat 7, or our A flat 9, moving up to the D flat major 7, or we could do the D flat major 7 like this. 6/9, major 7, okay? And then we're back to the D minor 7 flat 5 G7 and C minor 7. Now you can also work yourself up further up the fretboard. You know, you could and comp in short chords. We could do a C minor 7 with something as simple as this. These kinds of voicings are especially handy if you're not playing in a trio. You've got a keyboard player, for instance, or a piano player. You don't need to have big like 5 and 6 note voicings all the time. So C minor, F minor, D minor 7 flat 5, G7, right? C minor 7. Right? Those are handy if I want to make the C minor 7 a C minor 9. Right? That's good. And I don't know if I want to, we could work our way this high. And then E flat minor 7. And then A flat 7. And then D flat major 9. D minor 7 flat 5. G7 with a flat 9. Minor 9. Take the minor 9 to the bottom. Right. So there's a few nice ones, right? There's lots that you can do there, and I think incorporate don't forget to do the triads, right? And this 7 flat 9. There's just great all sorts of crazy stuff you can use that for. And minor 7 flat 5, just one note movement to change that to a G7 flat 9 and resolving to the C minor 7, right? Okay, I hope you learned a couple of new chord voicings there. Another thing that I should mention is when you get your right hand going, you don't. Sometimes sometimes the trick is going to be muting strings with your left hand, right? So if you after you've been playing a long time, I sort of forget, the little silly little muting things and stuff that I do sort of naturally. But even with the C minor like this, I'm muting that bottom string, so I don't have to worry about that bottom string ringing away, right? I'm muting it with my first finger. So there's lots of there are a lot of adjustments you'll make. Like this chord here, this F minor seven with the minor third and the bass. Very really nice chord because it mutes very naturally. Right? So I don't have to worry about my striking strings that I don't want to strike. Minor seven flat five. No, when you see something like this, an inside four string chord like this, my first finger is actually touching the bottom string, right? Whereas my baby finger is touching the top string, right? So I'm only hearing the the inside four strings. The same goes for the G7 flat nine, or I use this finger, second finger, to mute that bottom string. So these are things that you should work through when you're learning new voicings, and a lot of this has also got to do with your picking technique, right? If you want to learn little little short chord techniques like that, you're going to have to learn to angle your pick so that you're staying away from the bottom strings, right? You didn't hear any bottom strings ringing away there. So there's a few tricks to play with. Like any new chord, um, it takes a while to learn a new chord. I mean, it takes me a while. Anyway, yeah, you might be a lot quicker. So you really have to take a look at how that chord sits underneath your fingers and how it translates to your picking technique, right? Picking technique is a big deal, and one thing that you cannot lose is the time. Guitar players can't lose time, especially if they're playing with. I mean, if you're playing solo all by yourself in a hotel or something. I mean, that's you can do whatever you want. But if you're playing with a drum kit, you're going to make a lot of. You'll never play with the drum kit again unless you keep time. And the same goes for upright player. One of the loveliest combinations of all time is just an upright player with a guitar player. I mean that's just sublime. And what you have to learn to do is keep time with the bass player, right? You can't fool around that way. And if it goes to a trio, now you have to keep time with the kit and with the upright player. And so what I'm getting at is this can never be compromised, right? Whatever rhythm you're playing, and this becomes like a drum in the right hand. I mean, that's a little on the pedantic side, but you have to be able to nail it. You have to have one ear on the drummer, one ear on the bass player, and one ear on you. and that makes 3 years. So you have to be able to hear really, really well. All right, so I hope that was a help. I hope you learned a couple of new chord forms. And another thing that I should say is group your chords one at a time, right? Don't group them according to this tune. Use the tune as an opportunity to learn each of these chords and spread them across the fretboard. So your C minor, you should put that together with another C minor, you see, and then learn these in groups and move them around the fretboard, and so that what I'm getting at is so that this isn't the C minor chord and then all the other ones are the hard ones. No, what happens is they're all C minor chords, right? Everything that you learn the same chord everywhere. You extrapolate it all across the fretboard, and then you move to another chord, and you do the same thing. If you want a practice technique, take one chord and play that one chord wherever you can find that chord, whatever it is, all across the fretboard in as many positions as you can find. That's great practice. And I don't mean for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Do it for half an hour. Find one chord and find the voicings for that one chord, voicings that you like all over the fretboard. I can't emphasize how important that is. All right, so good. Thanks for stopping by. That was fun. I think I learned a couple of things myself. So, if you like this video, subscribe, and if you like it, that's good too. And then I hope to see you back again. If you've got any questions, please ask the questions, and we'll get back to you and answer them as best we can. Great. Thanks a lot. See you soon.